So welcome. Is everybody inside from the reception area? So welcome everybody to the third annual Dream It, Code It, Win It. It's hard to believe that we're already doing this for the third time in a row. So first I'd like to start off by thanking our partners. First of all, Trading Screen. This is the third year in a row that Philippe Johannick and Trading Screen have organized and sponsored this event. And this year we had a special partner, Fiverr, which is here today. And what's special about them is that they are capable of providing opportunities for a lot of the students and a lot of the future students that are learning computer science today. So thank you very much to Fiverr for helping us with the event and for being our partner. So I'm very pleased now to welcome Vanessa Yurkovich on-camera broadcast and digital reporter at CNN. She's working in New York City, and she has nearly a decade of experience in journalism. Vanessa has covered the Haitian earthquake and in 2008 presidential elections and interviewed top executives including Richard Branson and Tommy Hilfiger. We have some really interesting executives today here as well that she'll add to the list. And just this week, she returned from reporting at the US-Mexican border. Vanessa, we look forward to your insights, and we're very excited to have you join us this evening. Please come on stage, Vanessa, and welcome her.
Hi, everyone. How's everyone doing today? Good. I'm really excited to be here. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Very excited to be here, as I said, and to welcome everyone to the third annual Dream It, Code It, and Win It award ceremony. Here we have some amazing students in the audience, very talented students, and we also have some great panelists that we're going to be talking to a little later this evening. So some interesting facts about this building that we're in right now, the Cooper Union. This is the place where the NAACP, the Red Cross, and the women's suffrage movement all started right here in this building. It's also the place where many presidents have spoken, including Woodrow Wilson, Bill Clinton, Theodore Roosevelt, and I've also heard that this is the exact place and exact podium that Abraham Lincoln spoke at, so very cool. And right here in this room, as I said, we've had some really big historic moments, and we're going to add to that tonight. And we're going to witness some new talent being born with these students. Another talented woman is Minerva Tantaco, and she is the first Chief Technology Officer of New York City. Minerva started in October 2014, and her goal was to lead a citywide effort to make New York City the most technology-friendly and innovation-driven city in the world. And now we're going to hear what her job is really like. So please welcome Minerva Tantaco to the stage. Have a seat here.
Sure.
All right.
Next to you.
Yeah. All right. Well, again, thank you so much for being here tonight. We're really excited to have you.
Thanks, Vanessa. I'm really excited to be here. Hi, everybody. How are you? Good. I'm fine. Thanks for asking.
I already asked her for you, so it's okay. As we mentioned, you're the first CTO of New York City. So what does that exactly mean?
Yeah, it's actually a pretty cool job. I've been in technology for 30 years. So I've been doing coding. I started my first company in 1985 when I was 20 years old. And, this is probably the hardest and best job I've ever had. And the reason is I get to use all of my technology knowledge and all of the tech ideas and use them for the best city in the world, New York City. To make the world yeah. So congratulations, you're in New York, you've won the best place in the world lottery. And I get to use it to help make the lives of New Yorkers better, easier, to encourage more technology companies to come to New York or start new tech companies here in New York, but also to make sure that we provide equal opportunity to all New Yorkers in all 5 boroughs to have a chance to be part of this new innovation economy.
So what are some of the main goals that you've set for the department, and what have you been able to accomplish so far?
So the biggest goals, as we said, was to be tech-friendly and innovative, and it really just falls into 3 main buckets: talent, access, and innovation. So the talent side of it is really to help make New York the place that has the workforce of the future. So we have programs like Computer Science for All, which helps a lot of all of New York City public school students have an opportunity to learn computer science. We have the Tech Talent Pipeline, and we have many other programs like the summer internships, Ladders for Leaders, where high school students can get a summer job in a really cool tech company here in New York City. Access is really about providing more broadband to more New Yorkers. So, you know, not everybody has really fast access at home. And so one of my favorite things that we've done is Link NYC. How many people have used payphones? Wow. Well, did it work? Because one of the first projects that we did was turn all of those old non-working payphones into free Wi-Fi hotspots. You can see a few of them already over there on 3rd Avenue and 14th, and they go all the way up 3rd Avenue. They're going to hit the Bronx in July. And they're not only just free Wi-Fi hotspots, they're going to be a minimum of 100 megs, and some of them are going to be gigabit speed. They have, yeah. They have these little tablets, so you could actually use the tablet in this kiosk. They're called links in the link, and you can use it to make free phone calls in the United States. So you have no coins needed. You'll also, yes, there's a charger, so you can walk up there and recharge your phone, and it's all paid for by the digital advertising on the sides. And so it doesn't, not only will it not cost New York any money, it's actually going to generate money for New York. So this is the kind of cool new way of thinking that we're providing a free public service, and it also generates money for the city of New York that we can put into, you know, the other important programs. So this is kind of some of the cool stuff I get to do. And I do want to just say the third is innovation. So that's access. Innovation is really about how do we engage all of the cool creative people in New York and help us make New York City a better place. And let's kind of co-innovate on great ideas. So in fact, both CSNYC and the Links were part of public-private partnerships. It was us partnering with communities, partnering with private companies and governments, working together to have all these great ideas. And so, you know, that's the future, and I'm really excited to be part of that, part of this administration.
A lot of people consider Silicon Valley sort of the tech hub, tech capital of the United States and maybe the world. How would you compare New York City, what some are calling Silicon Alley, to San Francisco, and where do we stand?
That's an awesome question. I hope it's okay if I take a couple steps back, as I mentioned that 30 years ago I started my first software company. It was actually in Silicon Valley. I'm going to go back even further, and this will answer your question about what makes New York different. I was actually born in Manila, Philippines. We came to New York when I was 4 years old. And my parents didn't know about kindergarten, so I ended up going into public school in 1st grade. So, and I also didn't speak English when I first came to New York. So basically, I learned how to read and write from Sesame Street. And that's why when people ask me, why don't you have a Philippine accent? You don't even have a New York accent. I say, just close your eyes, because my accent is Big Bird. So now for the rest of our talk, if you close your eyes, imagine a big yellow bird, and you'll see exactly what I mean. But that's one of the best things about New York, and it was so important to me that the first CTO of New York City be a girl from Queens who went to all New York City public schools and talks like Big Bird. But more importantly, it's the diversity of New York City that makes it so different from the other tech sectors in the world. Like I said, you won the lottery. You were in the most diverse part of the world right here. And what that means is that's going to be this cauldron of creativity. And we know that diversity is New York City's secret sauce. But it's not just the diversity of the people, it's the diversity of the industry that's so important here. Because we don't have just tech, we don't have just Hollywood. We have financial services, we have medicine, we have fashion, all the best things, all the other best kinds of sectors are here. And so we also have all of those hyphen techs. We have fintech for financial, health tech. We have fashion tech, food tech, you name it. And so things like links and those great bus stops and Wi-Fi and the park benches and things, that's what we're calling GovTech, civic tech. And so we have the diversity of people and industry, and that's our secret sauce. And finally, I'll say the thing that I've observed, having worked all over the world, what I really, really love about New York and New York's sectors is community. I was at an event where, there was one person from the West Coast and 4 people from, New York, but we all knew each other. Like just before this meeting, we were all, hey, I know you, we've met before, I know someone who works with you. And the person from the West Coast said, man, that would never happen on the West Coast. It's because we're a true community. We see each other off stage. We work on projects together, and we really care about what we do. We care about New York, and we give back. That's why New York is like the #1 place for social innovation kinds of companies as well. Tech for good, I call it. So New York is the place whose people have hearts as big as their brains. And that's what makes New York special.
Well, I think we have a lot of kids in the audience who would want to know a little bit more about how you got to where you are. And I guess one of the questions is, maybe for a future CTO of New York City, what's the best advice you've been given? And then what is the best piece of advice that you would give to these kids here tonight?
Sure. Well, the best piece of advice I've been given was from, of course, my mom. She once said to me, education is more important than money. Because once you get an education, unlike money, no one can take it away from you or steal it from you. And also, once you have an education, the more you share it, the more you have. Unlike money, if I had money and I shared it, I would have less. So she always taught me that education was the #1 thing, and I think that really helped me figure out what I wanted to do. The second thing is, for those budding CTOs out there, I have invented every job I've ever had. So, yes, I was the first CTO of New York City, but I was also the first CTO at Gray Advertising. When I started my first company, we were the first people to make artificial intelligence software, that could write its own formulas. I have 4 patents in intelligent workflows. So that just means that when you get a patent in something, that just means you're the first to create it. So I would say to you, follow your path, and just because someone hasn't done it before, all that means is you're going to be the first.
That's really good advice. So kids, start your own businesses, as you're doing right now. Thank you so much for that. But Minerva is going to stick around for a special presentation she's going to make. I'll let you take it away.
That's right. Thank you so much, Vanessa. It was a real pleasure. Yep.
Round of applause for her.
All right. So I would now like to introduce Leanne DeLizer to the stage, who has been championing change in computer science, and particularly in New York City public schools. Yeah. For many, many years. She is a critical member of CSNYC, the New York City Foundation for Computer Science Education. And as Director of Education and Research, she has helped build a portfolio of CS programs that currently reside in 150 schools and reaches more than 12,000 students a year. Talk about impact. This city's new 10-year Computer Science for All initiative will be built on these foundations. And also to join the stage will be this year's platinum sponsor, Fiverr. David Manella is the Chief Revenue Officer for Fiverr. So please come on stage, Leanne and David.
Come on up. All right. Are you guys hanging on stage while we get to the first awards?
That's correct.
Is that the plan? All right. Well, let's get started with these awards tonight. The first award of the night is the New York City High School Students Award. So we're just going to announce all of you guys, all of you talented kids, to come up on stage and join us. The first is Bronx Academy for Software Engineering for their project, Protect and Swerve. Come on up. Next, we have Stuyvesant High School for their project, ER Lifesaver. Come on up. You can hang right here. All right. Also from Stuyvesant High School, NutriTrades. Where are you guys? Come on up. And also from Stuyvesant High School, again, we have Soul Route. Stuyvesant High School, again, Studious, come on up. And the last from Stuyvesant High School, Touristy, come on up. And now from the Young Women's Leadership School, Breaking Bread. Again, from the Young Women's Leadership School, Reducing Carbon Footprint Game. And finally, the Young Women's Leadership School, their project, the Stress Relief App, which we all need a little bit of, don't we? Come on up. And now, David, I think it's off to you. You're going to make a little thank you to Miss Leanne.
Leanne, on behalf of Fiverr, thank you so much for all the hard work that CSNYC has done. We are proud to be part of this event. You know, Fiverr is a technology company first. And everything we do is about enabling hundreds of thousands of people with talent to do what they love. This is what you are doing with the curriculum of computer science, with the academy, so thank you for the work that you and your team have done in the last 3 years.
Thank you. Congratulations. Congratulations, Leanne. Photo ops, there'll be a lot of those tonight.
And one more award for the CNYCF Foundation, which is partnering with the Mayor's Office to provide computer science for high school students all over town. Thank you.
Congratulations. Another thing you're going to see tonight, these large checks. Deposit those quickly. All right, and let's say one more big, big congratulations to all of these students who are winners here this evening. Congratulations to you all. All right. All right, everyone. We're going to move on to our next award just to keep this going. Thank you, everyone, so much. Woo! Thanks, guys. All right. Divvying up the awards there. All right, let's move on to our second award of the evening, the Fiverr Computational Innovation Award. And I think we have a little video to go along with this. We're going to skip the video. Oh, it's back. This is technology for you, right?
Hi,
Sometimes it
I'm
cooperates,
Stephanie
sometimes not.
McCowitz. And I'm Crystal Butler. We're both master's students in computer science at New York University. And we're here to tell you about a system we built called MyFace. MyFace is a tool for recognizing a much broader, more fine-grained set of facial expressions than current.
Kids, can one of you get up here to fix this? All right, well, MyFace, as was noted, is for facial recognition software that is both complex, that is a complex for both computer science and mathematical perspective. So let's welcome to the stage our winners from MyFace, Crystal and Stephanie. Come on up. Go ahead, give them the goods. Do you guys want to give a quick little 20-second speech about MySpace and MyFace? MySpace is dead, you guys. MyFace is what's new. Just since your video cut out, we'd love to just get a quick little synopsis about what it is.
Okay, well, we are trying to build a dictionary of parameterized recognizable facial expressions that can be used for automated facial expression recognition and also for building essentially digital robots. And we see this to be applied in things like social companionship for the elderly, coaching applications, anything that involves interactions between humans and machines so that they can be more effective and realistic.
Wonderful. Well, congratulations to you. Let's give them a hand. Take the check. It's yours to keep. All right, so we're going to break up the awards for a second, and we're going to move to our first panel this evening. This is the Social Good to Entertainment panel. Tonight joining us, we have Kevin Mayer, who's the Senior Executive Vice President and Chief Strategy Officer at the Walt Disney Company. Also, we have Aya Badir, founder of Little Bits, and we have John Underkoffler, the CEO and founder of Oblong. Please welcome the three of them to the stage.
Where do you want us?
Anywhere, musical chairs, wherever you want. All right, well, thank you all three for being here. Really appreciate it, and I'm sure these kids in the audience are very eager to learn a little bit about what you all do. So, the three of you have revolutionized some aspect of the space that you're working in. I think for the kids, we really got to get to a little bit about the advice of how you took your backgrounds and the different studies that you had in school and how you transitioned that into the career you're in today. So why don't we start with you, John?
That's too big a question for a small stage like this, but I think, one of the things that's universal is the idea that there's a big distinction between learning a thing and learning how to learn. And when you really dive into your education, and if you're interested in a kind of broad range of things, you start to see patterns emerge, and you start to realize that there's a piece that's universal. If you know how to problem solve here, then you actually have a start on how to think about problem solving over here and over here and over here. And engineering, and I think computer science in particular, is one of those magic decoder rings. We'll probably say more about that in a bit.
To you, Aya?
I got into technology by first doing an undergrad in engineering, and I, to be very honest, hated engineering. And I really wanted to get out of it because I wanted to be a designer. But when I went to do my master's, I discovered the Media Lab at MIT, and it was the first place that I felt, and John went there too, where you could combine engineering with creativity. And that became a very inspiring mission that led me to start my company. At Little Bits, what we make is we make electronic building blocks for invention and for learning, and the goal is to make engineering accessible, to make it exciting, and to make it creative, because we want to enable every kid of every age to become an inventor and get excited about STEM and STEAM.
To you, Kevin?
Thank you. I think we all went to MIT, oddly enough, so we have a
Oh my
little
gosh.
alumni panel up here.
Wow.
You know, it's interesting. I work in the entertainment industry now, and I never would have thought when I was an undergrad studying engineering that I would end up at Walt Disney Company as a senior executive there. But I will say that I would agree with John that learning how to think and learning how to problem solve is a universal life skill that you really need to develop to be successful in anything these days. I think our economy is more and more of a knowledge economy. And learning how to navigate complex problems, deconstruct them, piece them back together, get answers is really important in whatever field you go into. And I'll say it's definitely true in the field that I'm in. And also what's somewhat surprising to me now, but not to anyone in the audience probably, is the degree to which technology has impacted seemingly non-technological fields, and entertainment being one of them, where technology has made a massive impact over the last 20 years. And so even the technical knowledge that I had as an engineer has translated marvelously well into the entertainment business, and it's going to be more so over time. I have a feeling that will be true for almost any business in any industry these days. So technology, learning how to solve problems, yes, but also understanding the technical aspects of engineering and science will hold you well in, I think, most fields these days going forward.
And Aya, you mentioned that you started your company to help kids develop engineering skills. Can you be a little more specific about what you're hoping, future generations and kids are going to be learning these days?
I mean, I think I very much agree with Kevin and John. The world is changing at a very rapid pace. The careers that we have today are no longer the careers that we can expect to have tomorrow. And so what we need to do is prepare the next generation to be lifelong learners, to be problem solvers, to be creative thinkers, so that they can be ready for careers that haven't been invented yet. And what we do at Little Bits is we try to break down technology, the lights you see, computers around you, security systems, cars, blinking shoes. We try to break it down and make it more understandable, make it more accessible, and enable you to become an inventor so that you are tapping into your own creative skills, your own mathematical skills, and you're able to get excited about these inventions or these careers of the future and not be intimidated by engineering. Unfortunately, too often, too many students I speak to, and even adults, are afraid of engineering, they're afraid of computer science, they think they're not technical, they're not creative, and they're intimidated by these fields. And so we are trying to break it down, make it fun, make it creative, make it accessible, and we see inventors popping up of all ages, of all backgrounds, of all interests, because it's the language of today, and it's the language of tomorrow.
And Kevin, a lot of large companies, in order to stay competitive, they have to constantly be pushing the envelope. So how is Walt Disney Company pushing the envelope and competing in the innovation space?
Well, we're pushing the envelope in a lot of different ways. If you think about entertainment, we're creating product, and the product of entertainment is, by its nature, very, very creative. I was lucky enough to be the guy at Disney who's negotiated the acquisition of Pixar and Marvel and Lucas. Anyone see The Force Awakens out there? Yes? Woo. Come on, let's have some energy here,
sure.
Guys. All right. So, and to make The Force Awakens, or to make The Avengers, or to make any of the Pixar movies, it's a real marriage of technology and creativity. And that is something that I think other fields have that, but I think the entertainment field is actually, it depends on innovation more than ever. So at Disney, we have many, many ways that we approach it. But at Pixar, for instance, we have an R&D group, and that R&D group is tightly integrated into the creative process. So that the movie makers, the directors that are creating these movies, depend and rely on the R&D group to fulfill their vision. So there's this interplay between creativity on screen and what's happening in the computer science in the background, and that's very heavy-duty computer graphics, computer science. It's extremely sophisticated. We have an accelerator at Disney that I run, where we bring in 10 companies every summer, and we incubate them. They are in our studio facilities, and all of our senior executives, including me and our chief executive, mentor them, and we bring them along to our business units, and we get them business development deals at Disney, and they exit with that in their pocket. For instance, there's a company that came through our accelerator called Sphero, and they developed this BB-8 robotic toy, and that was a huge seller at Christmas. It was the biggest single toy that was based on Star Wars characters this last Christmas, and it was hugely successful, and that happened in our accelerator. And then we have a bunch of other ways throughout the company that we innovate. But it's pretty exciting at Disney. We do a lot of technological advanced innovation there.
This is a perfect segue to John, because John, you did some of the technology for Minority Report with Tom Cruise. Anybody remember that movie? Oh, okay. All right, good.
Not everyone is old enough to have seen
That's
that.
why I looked over there, because I was wondering if any of you guys were old enough to remember that movie.
But Iron Man, how about that one?
So with that in mind, what do you think is the next big thing? What is the next big thing we should be looking at in technology?
Well, I think it's going to be a swing back from the last 10 or 15 years that we've been in, where we've seen technology principally as a set of gadgets, as a set of toys, essentially, that we buy. And because this is what computers look like today, right? And we're going to see a swing back thanks to interest in engineering that might come out of watching a science fiction film, interest that might come out of a new way to experiment and become an inventor yourself. A swing back towards seeing technology and engineering, and in particular computer science, as something that lots and lots of people, maybe everyone, can participate in. Technology as a kind of human exoskeleton. Technology as a way to kind of amplify your human creative drive and your synthetic will. So I think we're going to see computers bring people together more instead of keeping them apart. Computers are a kind of universal solvent in a way. Computer science is a universal solvent because more than any other form of human invention, computer science literally touches everything. Everything that you can think of. There's nothing that's not susceptible to a little bit or a lot of computer science. And that means that if that's what you're studying, if that's what you're working in, then you have the possibility of affecting everything in the world. And I think that's what you're doing.
And this is a question for all of you. I know in various careers and various industries, some people tell you, if you're going to learn anything, learn this one thing. So in the engineering and technology space, obviously there's a lot of different tracks to go down. There's so much to learn. But if there was one thing that these kids should really learn and be good at, what would that be? Start with you, John.
Would I have to go?
Well, whoever, but you're next to me, so.
How about a non-technology, non-engineering lesson? This is one of my favorite quotes. It's from a French nutjob author named Raymond Roussel, and I don't speak French, so I'll do it in English. But he said, "Nothing that is not made up." And what that means is you have permission to think of anything you want and start from there. You don't have to start with the stuff that everybody else is doing, and permission is a key word. Right? No one gives it to you ever, basically. You just take it for yourself, and that's where you begin. Nothing that is not made up.
All right. Julia?
Can I steal what you said? Learning how to learn. I think learning how to learn is really important, but I think we have to expand what learning means. It's not only about sitting in class. It's not only about memorizing what we're learning from the teacher. It's learning every day when you're out in the world. It's learning online. It's learning from movies. It's learning from friends. It's seeking out a YouTube video when you're excited about a new topic so you can learn about it. It's using a new tool to invent something when you haven't tried it before. before, so you can learn from the process of doing it. And I think, keeping this desire to learn alive, no matter what your age, if you're 15 years old, if you're 60, if you're 20 years old, you have to kind of cultivate this desire for learning and get better and better at it. And it's insatiable when you do.
Kevin?
I would say learn fluid mechanics. It's really important. That's a joke. I'm not. I think I understand what you said, John, but and this might be close to that. I would just say learn about yourself, because the one thing that I would say is that, and I've had experiencing all the different jobs I've been in and managing a lot of people and seeing who succeeds and who doesn't succeed quite as much, is you can't succeed at anything unless you really love to do it. So you must find that what you really what drives you, what you're passionate about, and hopefully that intersects with a great opportunity in life, and it normally does, I think. But unless you're doing what you really love, something that really, really excites you, it's going to be very difficult to be as successful as you can be. So that's learn yourself and be honest with yourself, and that's not easy all the time, to be really honest about what you're good at, what you're not good at, what you love to do. So do that.
Well, I want to thank the three of you very much for giving your advice to the kids and talking about what you love to do. And I would say if they're going to stick around, definitely try to talk to them. And if they're not going to stick around, try to find their emails online, which I know you can all do. So let's, John and Kevin are going to exit, but Aya is going to stay on stage with me. So one more time, a round of applause for these three. Thank you. I think this is actually staying on stage with us.
I was getting a prize. Oh well.
The prize is being here with all of us. All right, so Aya is here with me. Come on up here. Maybe these were for you. The next award that Aya and I are going to present tonight is the High School Student Award for Social Good. Bless you. Uh-oh. That was a wonderful video. Thank you so much for that. All right, well, we're going to invite to the stage the winners of this award from the Convent of Sacred Heart. Please welcome the winners for their project, Prosthetic Hands. Come on up. All right, here they are. Come on up, girls. Does anybody want to talk a little bit about what your project is, since your video unfortunately didn't play?
Okay, well, we go to Convent of the Sacred Heart, and last year we had the opportunity to work with the organization Enable, which connected us with people who have either been born or have had accidents leaving them without hands. And we use the new technology, the 3D printer at our school, to print the parts and assemble hands for these people who didn't have hands.
Well, one of the most interesting things that we did is incorporate it into our school curriculum. So not only did we take an already great idea, but we made it possible to incorporate it into our education and into our school. And this will allow other schools to follow in our footsteps and do the same thing. And I think that's one of the biggest takeaways and the biggest impacts that our work has done.
Well, what I thought was really great about Enable is that it was connecting us with people throughout the country, and unlike with a regular prosthetic, we were able to take their input and incorporate that into the design. So one kid we worked with wanted his hand to look like Wolverine, so we were able to design parts that gave him claws, or we took their color choices and things like that. So it was a really personalized process, which was great.
That's wonderful. And you guys are in high school? Wow. All right. Congratulations to you guys. Let's get your awards. All right. Aya, I think you're going to head off with them and say congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you so much to Aya. All right, our next award of the night is the Fiverr Award for Ingenuity. Let's see if this video goes.
I'm Eugene. We are fourth-year electrical engineering students at the Cooper Union. We have created a wireless Gauss, a wireless glove mouse, as an alternative interface between a user and the computer cursor, effectively replacing conventional computer mice. A conventional mouse requires a hard, flat surface for operation and also requires a person to make small and exact movements with their hand and fingers. Repeated action for controlling the mouse can also cause small muscles in the hand and forearm area to become tired and overworked. Computer mice may be positioned in awkward places on a workstation and force users to assume uncomfortable arm positions in order to reach and use the mouse. As a result, repeated use of a mouse can cause aches and pains in the body, arthritis, or carpal tunneling. We wish to alleviate these problems for computer users. Our system pipeline includes 3 stages. First, we collect hand gesture data using a combination of flex sensors and a gyroscope through an Arduino microprocessor. Then, data is sent via Bluetooth to a Java process running on the intended computer. Finally, the data is filtered and smoothed, and hand gestures are mapped to computer actions including cursor movements, clicks, and scrolling. Users can create custom gestures to open an application or do a certain action. We can see the wireless Gauss in action. On the right, we see a user wearing the wireless Gauss. On the left, we see the screen of the intended computer. Moving the wrist up, down, left, or right moves the mouse accordingly. Users are able to type without any interference. Gestures are mapped to create an intuitive feel. Left or right clicks are made by bending the thumb or pointing fingers, respectively.
All right, very cool. Please welcome the winners of this award from Cooper Union for their project, Wireless Gauss Mouse. Did I pronounce that right? Gauss, wireless Gauss mouse. Very cool, you guys. Here's a wonderful check for you and a wonderful award. You guys want to get in a picture? This is all you. You guys did all the work. Congratulations to you guys. Great work. All right, our next award of the evening is the Fiverr Award for Creativity.
The power goes out. You're trapped in your apartment. You have no cell service. How prepared are you? Do you have a way to communicate with people or get updates on the conditions outside? Are you ready? Most people aren't. As a team, we've lived through the New York City blackout, Hurricane Katrina, and Superstorm Sandy. In each occasion, we found ourselves stranded, stuck at home, and woefully unprepared. The problem is that most of us only prepare for emergencies after they happen. People don't feel the need for disaster readiness equipment until it's too late, until they actually need it. So we asked ourselves, how might we integrate disaster readiness into our daily routines? That's why we built Ready, a smart home companion for the day-to-day that acts as an emergency device in times of crisis. On a regular day, Ready tells you the time and regularly pulls the temperature outside from a public API. The color of the weather lamp lets you check the day's forecast at a glance. You can even put music on by connecting to the internal Bluetooth speakers. In times of crisis, flip it over to use the emergency dashboard. Turn on the FM radio to get updates on the situation. You can also use the built-in walkie-talkie to get help at the press of a button.
Hello, this is Dan. Can you read me?
Ready is the product of a highly iterative process, combining physical prototyping with electronics, along with the Arduino code that ties it all together. With Ready, Households no longer treat emergency equipment as separate things they can put off buying. Instead, the equipment is right there in your home, within a device that you use on a daily basis.
All right, please help welcome me to the stage from the School of Visual Arts and for their project, Ready. Come on up. You just don't get tired of seeing these checks. Congratulations, guys. Grab your check and your award. Show that off. Congratulations to you. All right, we're going to change it up a little bit, and we're going to move on to our next panel. First up, we have Christina Beckhold, and she is an investor at Samsung's Global Innovation Center. And we also have Philippe Buchanek, and he's the CEO and co-founder of Trading Screen. Both Christina and Philippe are working in companies that value education to help build opportunities through technology. So help me welcome Christina and Philippe, please. Have a seat. I think those mics are on. All right, we'll start with you first, Philippe. You revolutionized the trading space 16 years ago using technology to help solve a global problem. What are some of the bigger challenges that you've faced turning Trading Screen into a universal platform for global trading?
The first, strangely enough, was just disbelief. Not many people believed we could change anything. I remember even being at a big conference in London, and some member of my panel, I started to explain what we were doing. We wanted to be multi-asset. We wanted to electronify everything, be more efficient, cheaper, better, more transparent. And at the end, the people on the panel said, but nobody will ever need that. And what everything that nobody will need is effectively the market today. So the disbelief was very, very strong in the community, in the financial community. People were very, very conservative. The second big issue we had in finance is every country, every environment is slightly different, regulation-wise. And so very often you have to adapt the product. It's very, very difficult. And fortunately for us now, the various regulations on a worldwide basis are kind of merging or converging, making it easier for us to apply a good recipe in the US with a good recipe in Japan or a good recipe in Europe. So it has been a little bit, and the last maybe big issue is we are in a very conflicted world. Transparency is very good for investors, but it's usually not very good for the intermediaries. So not everybody wants the market to be efficient. And so because of that, as in fact somebody here was mentioning, we have a lot of arrows in our back. When you innovate, you are usually burned alive too sometimes.
So how do we find innovative ways to make these complex global markets more simple? And that's to you again, Philippe.
It's a process which comes quite naturally, in fact. You just need to look at what doesn't make sense. Usually it gives you a good indication of what you can do. So you have to be curious. You have to analyze in detail. For instance, to give an example, when you come in finance, the first thing you usually do, you go to a back office and people make you settle trades. You know, foreign exchange or bonds or equities or whatever. And people teach you that this is the way to do it and you should not deviate from that. Well, the first thing you need to do is to deviate from that. For instance, I found absolutely amazing that we have the capability to settle a trade real time for at least 15, 20 years, but we still settle everything in 3 days because we are used to do it that way. And the reason why we don't do it, because you have enormous systems which are connected to each other and it's difficult to change. But so just by observing, which doesn't make sense, you can find good ideas. The other one is you can look across asset classes. You can learn things from one versus the other. The trading models, for instance, finance are clearly converging at this stage. You trade today with algorithmic trading across asset classes. It was not the case before. And I would say the last thing is you need to think like a user. So either a trader, a portfolio manager, a risk manager, you should always avoid to design a system as a technician. You have to design it as a human being who is using it every day. And you should be very careful never to rebuild the perfect step, but build the perfect workflow. It means that some steps don't have to be perfect, but the workflow has to work. It has to deliver what you want. So you need to work not in isolation, but to be able to connect the various pieces toward something that works very well for the user.
And Christina, I misspoke earlier calling you an inventor, but that sort of actually, it sort of works with what you do. You know, you focus on early stage investments in software and services for Samsung. So what are some of the new spaces that you and Samsung are looking to innovate in, and how will they make all of our lives easier at the end of the day?
Sure. So one area that we're really excited about at Samsung is virtual reality. So how many people here have tried a virtual reality headset? Okay, that's actually a lot. That's a lot more than normal when I talk to groups. So that's fantastic. And if you hadn't had the chance, and even if you have, I suggest you go down to the Meatpacking District here in Manhattan and check out the Samsung 837 Experience store. It's really cool. You can try all of the new technology. There's an amazing VR experience that's actually riding on a roller coaster at Six Flags. And I had to close my eyes when I did it. I actually couldn't even make it through more than a minute of the experience. It was so realistic. And virtual reality, I think beyond just sort of the gaming applications that a lot of people talk about, has the opportunity to expand really our worlds in such interesting ways. You know, you can put on a VR headset and be sitting on a beach in Australia or visiting a city in Europe. It's really amazing the immersive nature of that technology, and I think that's really going to transform the way that we experience things, as well as the kinds of experiences that we can have access to, regardless of where we are in the world. Another area that we're paying a lot of attention to right now is artificial intelligence. So that's using computers and technology to make decisions in similar ways to the human brain. So IBM Watson is an example of that. I don't know if you've ever seen Watson playing Jeopardy, for example, but that's a use of artificial intelligence. And that's gonna greatly change the way that human beings and machines interact, and it's going to impact everything from self-driving cars to refrigerators that are able to anticipate the things that you're going to run out of and order them and have them delivered to your home. So there are incredible applications, I think, that will be coming out of artificial intelligence.
AI and VR, some of the newer technologies. Do you think it's a space that kids should be looking at as far as careers?
Absolutely. I think find the spaces that are new and nascent, and use your skills to find new applications for those kinds of technologies. That's sort of where the future is going, as opposed to focusing on things that may be more of the moment. That's absolutely where I would go.
And shifting gears just a little bit to talk about some of the economies, one of the biggest issues in the global tech ecosystem is access to capital and to be able to grow and compete. So this is for both of you, and Philippe, maybe you can kick it off. What kinds of steps should be taken to address these hurdles?
I think when you start a company, and when I started my company, personally quite old, so I've done everything in the company except raising money. And so I was fairly inexperienced. I was very experienced in the rest, but I was not very experienced raising money. And one of the things you should avoid is that people, just because there is a lot of buzz, go systematically to professional financial investors. And in fact, you have a lot better ways to finance yourself, in my opinion. The first level is really your family. The second one is your client. I put them in order of logical awareness. The third one is partners. Very often, for instance, when I started, and honestly they charge a very high rate, but I financed my entire infrastructure with my network provider. I couldn't find other capital. Then you have the new ways that we see evolving now, like peer-to-peer lending and new issues electronically and so on. It's really interesting field. Then you go to the angels, then maybe to the private equity and venture capital, and then to the government, because there usually you spend more time filling your files and getting money. But if you should not overlook these other sources of capital. I think they are very useful, and very often you can start a company. We didn't start the company with any financial money at all. It was mostly our clients financing ourselves. And I think that's very, very important. And the last piece I would add is that you can easily replace capital by human capital. What I mean by that, if you have a team which is really very motivated, and you make them partners, usually obviously by sharing in the capital, you can effectively obtain and do really amazing things with very little money, which we did.
And yeah, Christina, you mentioned that you're looking to new spaces like VR and AI. So for other areas in terms of in the global market that don't have access, like Samsung does to this big resource of money and opportunity, how can people sort of get their ideas off the ground? How can they sort of compete with the larger companies that are out there today?
Yeah, I think one of the things that's amazing about starting a company now as opposed to maybe 10 years ago is how frankly how easy and cheap it is just to start and try something. We at Samsung very much believe in sort of the lean startup principle, so trying something, seeing if it works, iterating quickly, and making lots of changes to it. And so that's really, we feel strongly that that's the way to go about innovating, particularly in software and service, where you need to make those changes quickly to make sure that you're delivering to the customer that you're targeting. And so, I always encourage, particularly first-time entrepreneurs who have an idea and want to try it out and aren't sure how to get started, to start small, try to solve a problem that you yourself are experiencing in your life, because chances are, if it's a big enough problem, a lot of other people are having that same one. And if it is truly a big problem that needs to be solved, you'll find enough people around you, whether it's near or far, who want to be supportive of that.
And I think that we're seeing a time where there's a lot of emerging markets. We're looking at Brazil and Russia and India and China, whose middle classes are growing, quite rapidly. Would you say to entrepreneurs that they should maybe start looking at those countries for investment and opportunity? And then what advice would you give them if you do think that they should move in that direction? Philippe, if you could start that off.
Sure. I think the real question is, how can they not be there? I think you cannot exclude half the world population to start. And on top of that, if you look at, for instance, our headcount in our company or whatever, we're already there. We're already totally international. I think the single largest nationality in our company should be Indian. So it's just the way it is. And you have excellent people. I think but when you approach this market, you have to approach them very differently. Just as an anecdote, when we started to install screens in India, we had a little surprise. In every market I ever worked for, I was bringing a saving. I was saving money by putting a screen, somewhere. In fact, we realized our screen did cost the equivalent of 2 persons. So it was cheaper to have a person than to have an electronic system. So we said, what do we do now? So because of all the value added, it worked, but it's very strange. So you have to rethink your approach completely. I think the key for us is you need to have already, and you need to leverage an infrastructure which is already very large in terms of core services and all that, because like that you can reach a price point where this public can be addressed. Otherwise you can't. It's just too expensive for them. The second thing is that in this market, low tech is good. You don't have to have the last, speedy processor or whatever. They want some things that work. You have to achieve the purpose, but you don't have to have the ultimate in terms of technology. And by doing that, you put much more people on the network, so that's very positive. So I think there is not a real formula, but you have to approach the market very differently from what you do in an established market, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely true. And what I think is particularly interesting about emerging markets, which is actually where I started my career in finance, was working exclusively in emerging markets when I graduated from college. And what's fascinating to me is that from a technology perspective, many of us in this room started out with a desktop computer or maybe a laptop, then got a smartphone, and now that's part of our daily lives. And there are 4 billion people around the world who are going to go straight to a smartphone as their first experience with technology and the internet. And that creates an incredible opportunity for those who are willing to go out and grab it. But it also means that those consumers are probably going to need very different software and service experiences than maybe you and I need here in the United States. And so I think there's an incredible opportunity for people who are willing to go and explore those markets and work with local partners to try to solve some of those needs and be the first ones in on the ground. I think it's a massive and fascinating opportunity.
Is Samsung looking to do that? Is that something
Absolutely.
that
So I'm part of a division that runs the Samsung Accelerator. We have accelerators here in New York, San Francisco, and in Tel Aviv. We're going to be opening 2 more very shortly, and those will absolutely be in emerging markets and other markets outside of the US. We feel very strongly that there are incredible ecosystems around the world and opportunities for great talent to build fantastic products.
Well, I want to thank you both. Philippe is going to stay and Christina is going to head out, but thank you to both of you for spending the time and giving the insight that we all really appreciate. So round of applause to our panelists. All right, Philippe, where are you? There you are. Come on up here with me. So Philippe and I are going to present the next award. It's the Trading Screen Global Technology Entrepreneurship Award.
This is our lives, being surrounded by objects that have predefined interfaces and now are becoming more connected and created with more functionalities. This is giving users a mental overload. Why not having them adapt to us? What if we eliminate these interfaces and let you customize the interfaces you want to interact with by drawing it? Draw It is a drawable user interface that allows you to create, whenever you want, an interface through a visual language. How to make it work? Begin by defining the shape of the object you want to interact with. Then the application recognizes the shape drawn. In this case, a circle that represents a lamp. Now you can create different actions for the lamp, for example, an on and off button, and even change the color of the light. Draw It also recognizes touch gestures, like tapping for on and off, scrolling for songs, and zooming for adjusting volume. You can also create more complex interfaces, such as having objects share common actions while each keeping their functionalities. And you can relate objects between each other, creating an interaction that adapts to a context.
Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle.
Finally, Draw It allows you to visually program interactions, for example, in this case, a timer, in order for the lamp to change color over time lapses. Draw It, a drawable user interface.
All right, and all the way from Barcelona, Spain, let's welcome Mark Esposito for Draw It. Congratulations. And thank you, Philippe, very much. Thank you. All right, you guys are great. Honestly, you can hear a pin drop in here, which I hope means you're engaged. So thank you so much for being so wonderful. All right, our next award is the Fiverr Award for Imagination. All right, from MIT, please help me welcome Remy Mock with Swim Buddy. I have to ask you a couple questions, though. Are you a swimmer?
Yeah, you're a swimmer. Yeah.
In the video, it said that you could race anybody in the world. Have you raced Michael Phelps?
Not yet.
With the app?
I'm down.
Well, with the app, have you raced him?
No. I'd love to, though. That'd be great.
Who were some of the competitors that you've raced with your app?
Just like teammates. So that was me in the video, the first swimmer, and then the second swimmer, just a teammate of mine.
Very cool. Are you hoping to take this all the way to the Olympics?
I haven't thought about it that far. I just do it for fun, so.
Just for fun. That's so great. All right, congratulations to you. All right, so we have a couple awards for some college teams who couldn't be here tonight because they were being good students and they're taking their exams. So I'm just going to list them off, and at the end we can give them a nice round of applause. Actually, just kidding, we have a video. Here we go. All right, so this is the award for inspiration, the Fiverr Award for Inspiration, and that is from the kids from MIT. They're not here tonight, but let's give them a round of applause. Circuit Sticker. All right, do we have that next video for the Award for Innovation tiebreaker? Here we go. All right. Well, the kids from UPenn win the award, the Fiverr Award for Innovation, and their project is Tiebreaker. I encourage you to go look at it online, where you can see the full video. And the next award for the Fiverr Award for Biomimetrics, kids from Carnegie Mellon, Recall.
To recap, Recall is a wearable device for Alzheimer's patients. How it works is that you can talk into it, ask any question you want, and it will reply back to you. Now, this is most applicable when you forget something. You forget who you are, you forget what your name is, you forget what you're even doing today, right? So this is very useful for those people. So you want to ask me a question again?
Ask like what you're doing today.
Yeah.
So what am I doing? Okay, so say I forget what my tasks are for today, I'm going to ask it. What am I doing today?
Okay, so now it's gonna record the
audio. Now it's uploading the data. You can see on the screen that it says
it into what am I doing today.
What am I doing today?
So now it will query.
Sorry, the volume is really small. It says you are learning about using Ruby on Rails, having fun at Penn House today.
Yeah. So essentially, we also have this
You can ask things about like, what's my son's name, what's my own name, where do I live, what's my home address, in case you get lost and you just completely forget. So we have this app that comes with it, which is a caretaker.
All right, and again, that was from Carnegie Mellon Recall, the award for biomimetrics. Again, not here tonight, but another round of applause for them. All right, you guys, I think we're down to the last awards. So the next awards are our final awards of the evening, and they are for 2 high school teams. All right, all the way from Boston, Massachusetts, from South High School, the team for Homework Helper, come on up. Hi, ladies. Well, I want to hear a little bit about your project. Let's hear a little bit about it.
Sure. So basically what Homework Helper is it's an app for students who, if they need some help with an assignment or a test coming up, they can press a button and they get connected to a tutor from their school who's a student who's already taken the class, and then they're connected over a mobile tutoring session.
Anything to add?
So basically we created it because we found out that students learn better from students. And so we want to create something that allows them to get connected easier.
And how many of your classmates are using this? Or is anybody using it yet?
So we haven't implemented it in our school yet, but it seems like there's a lot of interest since there's a really high demand for outside of school help. But for a lot of people, tutors are just too expensive, or it's just not convenient because you have to plan ahead. So we realized that there's this whole network of students who can help each other, but there really wasn't a way to make that connection until now.
And these girls are going to be getting a really nice career day in Boston with a company there, so that'll be really fun for you guys to experience. Congratulations to you. All right, and our final award is for Timeless Magic Moments. Let's take a look at that video. All right, well, let's welcome to the stage Emma Yang for her work on Timeless Magic Moments from the Brearley School. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your project?
So my project is an app for Alzheimer's disease patients, and it helps them remember their loved ones. So the key functionality is facial recognition. So you can take a picture of your relative, and it will use facial recognition to recognize that relative and tell you, say, Katie is your daughter. So you can really recognize and remember who family and friends are, so we can stay connected, and hopefully they can remember and stay connected for as long as possible.
What inspired you to make this project?
So Alzheimer's disease is a really big problem across the world today. 5 million Americans suffer from Alzheimer's disease, and personally my grandmother also suffers from the disease, so I really wanted to use technology, especially leveraging mobile technology, to create a solution for this problem.
And has she used it?
Well, right now it's a prototype, so I'm still working on it, but I think definitely later as we roll it out, I'll test it and I'll definitely use her help.
Well, I'm sure your grandmother would be very proud of you. Congratulations on your award. All right, well, listen, I want to thank everyone for being here this evening. To the students, to the panelists, and to the audience, thank you for being so wonderful. We encourage everyone to go to the Dream It, Code It, Win It website so you can take a look at all the entries and all the videos and learn more about these kids and what they've come up with. We also want to thank our wonderful sponsors, Fiverr and Trading Screen. And I encourage all of you, if you have a chance, to go talk to all the winners, talk to the panelists, and I hope that everyone continues to have a really wonderful evening. And take care, everyone. Thank you so much.